ChatGPT can't do it, then what makes you think you could do it? It's still brought to you by Budweiser. It doesn't have to pay. Sam Altman can get away with it, okay? He's the best looking guy in tech.
The race still cannot be broadcast together.
Wrong on both accounts. Wrong on all accounts. All accounts.
Hello and welcome to the Dirty Data Show, episode number 10. I'm your host, Evan Wimpy. Welcome back again. Loyal listeners, I apologize so much for the delay between episode number 9 and episode number 10. You see, I read a statistic. This is a show about dirty data and stats and maths. I say maths to sound really smart or really dumb, but definitely not in between. I read a stat that says over 50% of podcasts don't make it to episode 10. And so when I got to episode 9, there's just a huge mental hurdle in making episode 10. But now here we are. This is my 900th time trying to record it. And now I'm finally recording it. Really excited because there's some cool stories and data and analytics, quite dirty stories. Today's episode is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. Can you believe it? Right here, sponsoring this Dirty Data Show, the king of beers. Glug, 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 glug. That's a sound effect for those of you just listening. Those of you watching, hi, I'm waving. For those of you listening, that's okay. You're not missing much. I'm just gesticulating with my hands and drinking an ice cold Budweiser. Listen up, the 3 stories we've got to talk about today. One is a stats related story. It's all AI, but if you dig a layer deeper, it's all stats all the way down. It's just statistics. We got a stat story about the NBA and how they're ruining data scientists' lives. We've got a big promotion for AI. He's got his first real government job, a lot of authority off of their heads type of stuff. And then we've got Meta, of course, being a jackass like always with their fancy Meta Ray-Ban glasses, which, of course, I am not wearing right now. I'm wearing $5 sunglasses that were made in China that I expect to lose this week or next. But don't worry, I'll buy another pair for $5, filling up the landfills. Nah, they don't make it to landfills. They're hiding somewhere in this house. I found one under my bed once. How did my sunglasses get under my bed? I don't know. Leave a comment with your suspicion. I don't sleep on the bed. I don't go under the bed at all. I don't know how the glasses made it down there. But if I had Meta's Ray-Ban glasses, I'm sure I could do some fancy fucking AI find out how my glasses got from here to there. But that's not our first story. Our first story is about the NBA. You see, the NBA keeps statistics on all their players. Bunch of fancy statistics, bunch of simple statistics, just counting and rate statistics. A big one is your shooting percentage. How many shots you take and how many of them go in, which is why at the very end of a quarter, 3, 2, 1, a lot of players are hesitant to take a shot if they're not in a nice, efficient shooting position. If they're on their side of the court, they've just received an inbound from under their own basket. They're supposed to just chuck it up. Well, there's no real cost to the team game. You might make it, but you probably won't. But it impacts your shooting percentage until now, because the NBA instituted a Heave rule. It says if the ball is more than 36 feet away from the basket and there's less than 3 seconds left in the quarter, then a shot does not count for your individual shooting statistic. So all these cowards in the NBA like KD and LeBron that don't want to hurt their little shooting percentages, even though they're already on a max contract, so it shouldn't matter at all. Now they can go ahead and chuck those up. It's not clear to me whether if the shot is made, whether it counts for the individual. I hope it doesn't. That would be some bullshit. Then they're going to be players going to be fighting over trying to take these shots. It's all reward, no risk. But to the real manly men of the NBA, I don't know who, Steph Curry, Jokic, they're not afraid to take these shots already, and they should get first dibs at taking these shots from now on. And this is a stats story, of course, because it impacts the way we collect statistics. And I think this is a travesty. One, we just kowtowed to the biggest stars in the NBA who refuse to take heave shots because it's an individual sport more than it is a team sport. Cowards. But why I think this is a stats and data science story is because somewhere, maybe on every team, I hope on every team, but at least on some teams and some trading desks and some sports betting places, there are people there are data scientists that have gone through these complicated ways to weigh the efficient shots that a player takes, and they have their own heuristics and their own rules. So when Steph Curry is whatever 4 for 25 on these, in the path buzzer beater shots, they discount that. That shouldn't impact his shooting percentage as much as, you're running your half court offense and you get the look that you want and you're 4 for 25. That's a much worse look. And so they've developed some heuristics and some rules. Maybe it's as simple as the NBA where they just ignore everything in the last 3 seconds over 36 feet from the basket. But I suspect that it is a little more nuanced than that. And now it's out the window. Now, all that work that they did is just nobody cares about it because the NBA came in with a nice blunt statistical hammer and said, this is the way it's going to be from now on. So if you're that data scientist that has been doing that for an NBA team, I hope that this sort of heuristic that you've built is still useful. But I suspect you're going to have to make some changes. So maybe because you make changes, you sort of justify your own job and you can stay on. But I hope this is a case of, well, we don't need you anymore because the NBA now collects the statistics like we care about anyways. And so we don't need your fancy adjustments. The NBA is already adjusting by throwing out the hard to make shots that KD doesn't want to count. Then he doesn't even want to take. I bet you KD takes some half-court buzzer beater shots this year. Coward. Okay, the second story for today. AI got a big promotion in Albania. Albania is this country. You see it, I got a globe here. Albania is right on the globe somewhere. And like many countries on this earth, plagued with a perception and probably a real sense of government corruption. When the government wants to procure services, who do they procure from? Well, they often procure from their friends, their buddies, the people that are well connected. But not Albania, because Albania just hired a new minister for public procurement. They didn't actually hire her. They invented her. She's AI. She's not a real person. She's Delia? I don't know. Who knows? Some Albanian name that means, who knows, probably something like justice or honesty in dealing. But great for them. Everybody knows that AI can't possibly be biased or corrupted. Fujisimo at ChatGPT trying to monetize their advertisements so that when you search for where should I go on vacation, it spits out a list of advertising, a list of the highest paid sponsored results. Now we can get sponsored results in the actual government. So, hey, Albania, who should, repair this bridge? Well, I don't know. Let's see. Where is this data going to be trained on? Which AI model are they using to put it's not even clear to me which AI did they train their own AI model? Probably not. I suspect they bought some commercial service or at the very least used some open source and freely available. Maybe that they fine-tuned a little bit, but I suspect it's just as corruptible as any actual minister, with flesh and blood instead of ones and zeros. But the perception is, of course, this is now objective. We're gonna eliminate the human temptation here to serve their own personal interest, and we're only going to serve the interest of AI. Well, guess who made that AI? A human, a group of humans, and it's consistently going to be trained and updated by groups of humans that are just as corruptible. But now, instead of, the bribes get much more complicated now because you have to somehow get into the training data to make sure your firm or you're connected to the firms that win these government contracts. Anyways, the whole thing sounds hilarious to me. And if you've tried to use even the state-of-the-art AI services that are available to you to draft an email, the number of mistakes that come up. It's pretty hilarious. So you always try to do them in low stakes things or have the right guardrails on. Here, Albania just says, this is our minister. This is a person. Can't call it a person. This is the tool that's going to make decisions on where this taxpayer dollar gets spent for Albania. Well, congratulations, Albania. You've promoted AI. You're going to be the test case that we look back on in, maybe 10 to 12 days from now when AI has used this stepping stone as its first minister level appointment to go ahead for global domination. Well, there it was, because Diella was the Ministry of Public Procurement for Albania. Somehow she leveraged her way, and now we've got, the global world dominator director is now whoever, Grok. It's going to be Grok. It's going to be Grok. This Grok's the one with the ambitions, I think. Claude, ChatGPT, they're a little bit more subdued, cautious. Grok's going to be the one that we all pledge allegiance to now that the precedent has been set for AI to hold minister-level positions. I'm an American. I don't know what a minister-level position is. We don't have ministers. We have a president. We have representatives, senators, head of state. What is a head of state? Is the president the head of state? How about the secretary of state? They're the secretary of state. Anyways, the minister for public procurement in Albania is now AI. Best of luck to you, Diella. We're all counting on you to do a hilarious job and make plenty of jokes for data comedians for years to come. All right, our third story, Meta unhappy with how many millions of people spend millions of hours per year on their phones, accessing your social media services. You don't want to have to make people reach into their pockets or their purses and pull out a phone and angle their neck down to look at this phone. Those costs are just insurmountable to many people. So instead, tapping them right here on the sunglasses. We don't even need the watch anymore. The smartwatch, nah, it's too inconvenient. Got to look down at that too. Got to move our hands to touch it. From now on, the screen is embedded directly into the glasses. Now, smart glasses are not new, but this sort of pared down partnership that Meta just has with Ray-Bans and Oakleys. Now you can wear your slim, stylish Ray-Bans when you go play beach volleyball with your tube top or no shirt on, shirt off, no shirt. Do you have no shirt on? Is that what you say? That makes sense, I guess. This episode brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. I've got no shirt off, which means I do have a shirt on. But if I were wearing my Ray-Bans out on the beach volleyball court, then I could check my text messages and react to my mom's Facebook post, and I could still do it, while I'm going up for a spike. I wish I knew some cool volleyball lingo. And I just envision volleyball players as the ones with these glasses on and all, so connected within the world of Facebook and WhatsApp and whatever else Meta owns. Is that right? Sam, WhatsApp? Yeah, listeners, if I'm wrong, then you can go ahead and message me. But listeners, I suspect you're not listening now because you've probably got your Ray-Bans on and you're multitasking. You're doing your cool outdoor adventure activities while you're clicking through and responding to messages using your hand and arm signals that Mark Zuckerberg hilariously could not get to work at this Meta press conference. And, looks like an absolute clown in his cool Ray-Ban smart glasses, throwing up hand and arm signals to try to respond to text messages. But that could be you. If you thought that looked cool, the way Mark Zuckerberg did that, that could be you. All you got to do is spend $800. All you got to do is spend $800, $800 on sunglasses that distract you even more than the phone in your pocket. You're looking for distractions, slim down, that you can wear over your face. It's only $800. These glasses were $3. They protect my eyes from the sun, you see. The Ray-Ban glasses, nobody even talks about this. Maybe they protect your eyes from the sun, but they bombard your eyeballs with these little pixelated lights from, I don't know, half an inch away. a centimeter away for you European friends. That's my generic European accent. I learned it on the Metaverse. You can learn it too with a new pair of, what are these called? Uh, Meta AI powered smart glasses tapping into Meta AI. They're called some, come on. The Meta Ray-Ban display. Oh, they're called the display. How cool is that? The display. Now you wear the display. You've got a display right there on your face. How cool is that? Now we can be suspicious when we see anybody with sunglasses on. Think this clown is looking at their phone. He's tapping into AI. It'd be great for job. I want to take a job interview outside though, so I can just read the answers, the AI generated answers, scrolling up and down my face to answer job interview questions. Maybe if you're dating, it would be useful. You could look cool and also have the right things to say to respond instead of stumbling over all of your words because you don't know the cool joke, funny thing to say in response to your date's stupid story about their stepmom and the dogs that they got and why they had to get a new one. So boring. But that's okay. The Meta AI inside your face space can let you know exactly what to say for maximum influence. Thanks, Mark Zuckerberg, for looking like a clown and letting us all look like clowns too. This has been the Dirty Data Show, episode 10. Episode 11, it ain't going to wait a month. Now I'm past that 9-episode barrier. So now, conditioned on having 10 episodes, I don't know, 97% of podcasts make it to 11 episodes. So I will see you next time on the Dirty Data Show. Make sure to like and subscribe, and you will stay up to date with Evan's latest takes on whatever's going on in data, AI, and stats. See you later.